I see a lot of people knocking the youth, the young men, the young women in the streets, the Pooh Shiesty guys, and I get it, and I don't blame them to a certain extent, right? When you're young, you do a lot of stupid things. So I'm not surprised, and I don't think a lot of us should be surprised by the behavior of the youth, right? But we got to draw the line somewhere, and that line needs to be drawn when we see the same behavior in people 30 plus, 40 plus, and even 50 plus. And we're going to talk about it. Now, I want to talk about the old YNs. They call them the old YNs. It's crazy. And 50-year-old, 60-year-old, 40-year-old YNs. We got to talk about these guys. Whether it's the Birdmans, the Whack 100s. I even see Charles Oakley, basketball legend, online talking tough stuff. Like, this guy gotta be 60, right? Charles Oakley talk about who he gonna run up on and confront. What? It's crazy. I see issues with Judge Joe Brown and Judge Mathis online. These dudes gotta be 60, 70, man. 80. The old YNs, the Jim Jones, the Charleston Whites. So, Mr. Charleston White is supposed to be anti all the destruction in the community. But if you sit back and observe people, sometimes you just got to be quiet for a little while and just sit back and just, peep out the game. Charleston White acts and presents himself exactly like a YN. And any older statesman, any older man is not going to be online beefing with no young boys anyway, right? We give the game, we get the knowledge, we speak our piece, and we go about our way back to our grown man activities. We're not online arguing back and forth with little kids, 21-year-olds. We're not having, tussles with Soldier Boy's crew. We're not doing that, grown men. We're not doing that type of thing because we stand on what we stand on and we don't present ourselves like those guys. So Charleston White, to me, he an old YN too. That's why you see him with the Tekashi 6ix9ine. We're not giving Tekashi 6ix9ine any game. We're not selling him anything. We acting like him. We don't pop the balloon. We talking about strip club culture. So all the things like you gotta like the old folks used to say, our elders used to say, you lead by example. So if a young guy is watching Charleston White's behavior, if he's watching Whack 100, if he's watching Birdman and Jim Jones and Mano, if he and 50 Cent, if he watching them, he just sitting back watching, he see these dudes acting like him. 50 Cent beefing with all these dudes online and bringing up people's secrets, and you even watching Dame Dash and Cameron. I got a video coming on that. We're gonna talk about friends. We're gonna talk about that. But you see these dudes acting like children. If you're a young dude, sometimes I sit back and I say, could we blame the young people? Because these are their examples. Y'all the example. When I was younger, I remember in the 80s. In the 80s, you had like Mr. T, the big example of masculinity, alpha. Don't play with him, don't mess with Mr. T. You had Billy D. Williams. You had all these different male, your Bill Cosby, regardless of what's going on behind the scenes, whatever. You had all these different older males who were like representing something like great. They was really good. You see the way they dress. They didn't act the way we act. I noticed my dad's generation, my mother's generation, they were like the Motown generation. They listened to a lot of Motown music and stuff like that. Like, they didn't listen to hip hop, right? So I noticed now a lot of y'all listen to mumble rap. I could understand you listen to 90s rap, even the 2000s, your era, but you listen to no mumble rap. You listen to the NBA Youngboy and 21 Savage. You listen to the way, if you presenting yourself just like the young guys and you act like the young guys, who do they have to look up to? Who do the young women got to look up to if the older 40-year-old women act like Sexy Red? Right? So the reason you saw Lauryn Hill at a very young age present herself that, because who was she looking that up to? And it's not about whether people were perfect. She was looking at women like that were older than her, like a Whitney Houston, Shaka Khan. You know, she was looking at them and she was like, wow, look how they present themselves as women. So now when you look at these people, you look at like, that's how you act? We got Birdman on the stage talking about who got beef with NBA Youngboy, got beef with him. Dude, you 50 plus. Like you want to have problems with 21-year-olds? So at some point, Birdman should be telling NBA Youngboy, pull him to the side. Hey, youngin, look, you making a lot of money. You got a lot of children. You got a lot of situations going on. You got a lot of people working for you. You don't need to end up like Dirk. So what you need to do, you need to end all of that, go on your peace thing, or you're going to end up like Dirk. And a lot of people wasn't pulling Dirk to the side and telling him that. That's why Dirk in the situation he in. Now, he made his own decision. Don't get me wrong, but he in the situation that he's in because what was the guidance in Chicago? What was the guidance in New York and Atlanta? Who are the people they look up to if they see you acting like that? If you can't stay down with one person and raise a family and keep your grown 50-year-old behind out of a strip club, a booty club, then these young men ain't got nothing to aspire to. They have nobody to look up to and say this. If you act like them. Because me watching my father, I watched my father more than what my father had to say to me. I just watched him and observed him. Because a lot of times people observe you and they'll learn respect from you, just watching you. So when I talk to my younger guys and the young guys that I'm around and I get a chance to build with, I build with them. I present myself like a man. And I talk to them like a man, but I present myself like a man. I handle my business. I get up every day. I go to work. I take care of my family. Make sure my wife and my bills and my situation straight. I'm not on the corner like you. I'm not thinking that I give them guidance while I can, and they can watch by example because you lead by example. So the Sidney Poitiers, the Martin Luther Kings, all these type, leaders or people we aspire to look at, Bill Cosby's, they're gone. Richard Roundtree. We looking at dudes acting like kids. Talking about their blood. On Pyru. So at some point, you can't blame the youngsters. We are the ones that's in charge of this. The people that's 35 plus, we are the ones that are in charge of this culture. And it's up to us to lead this culture to the next level. The elders, they've done what they had to do. It's up to us to do this now. And we got to lead by example. That's my opinion. So leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Subscribe to the channel. And I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.